do you stand up a people analytics function in the federal government? This is actually the big question that we had. It's like, how do you even do this in the government?
Yeah, so we had a burning platform, and a burning platform is great. It's not great, but it's great when you want to start something new. Especially in the government, it's really hard to get funding. There's just so many different priorities that people have that when you're trying to stand up a mission support function in really a law enforcement organization, you really kind of have to have that burning platform. And we did. And it was that we really couldn't hire people and we needed the data. We needed the data to tell us what was going on. Where were the bottlenecks? We had a 12-step law enforcement hiring process. Where were things going wrong? So we had to have that data. And as we started to develop the data for hiring and we started to resolve some of the issues through that data analytic, we started to realize, hey, hiring is probably not the only area we need to do this. We need to look at our disciplinary process. We need to look at our workforce safety and resiliency processes. There were just so many different areas that we started to realize how impactful the data could be. And fortunately, because of the work we were able to do with hiring, our leadership started to really recognize the value of people analytics, and they really started to invest there. So that's how we really started. Sounds easy now, but at the time, getting funding, hiring people, not so easy. So it's good that we've come such a long way.
It's a long road, and I'm so glad to hear like sort of like these parallels. You hear people in private industry talk about, well, you need senior support, and like you're going through the exact sort of things. But like with that said, what kind of issues are inherent to government work that perhaps people in the private industry don't deal with or have to deal with differently?
Yeah. So I would say kind of one of our biggest issues, and it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing for the sake of our workforce and for the public. Bad thing if you're really into data analytics is privacy concerns, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
yep, public entities often can track their employees across the different websites. They can track applicants however they want to track them as they start to go using like Google Analytics and things like that as they go through the hiring process. We can't really do that. We have to be very cognizant of our employees and of the public's privacy. So we have a lot of limitations when it comes to what data we can mine, what data we can use, what data we can look at the individual level, what data we have to look at the aggregate level. And it does tend to limit some of the in-depth analysis that we would just love to do. But it's important, right? We are making sure that people feel secure and safe and that they know that their private information is not being used for anything other than what it's intended to be used for. So I would say that's a huge challenge. The other huge challenge is staffing. And this is, I'm sure you've heard this from everybody. Everyone's having challenges hiring these really, really talented people. But in the government, we don't get to set really how much we pay people. You are on a graded scale, so on a general salary kind of way, we have grades starting at a 1, which is like a high school intern usually, all the way to a GS 15, and those are your senior managers until you get to your senior executive leaders. And so you really don't have too much wiggle room if you're on the GS system to offer people different salaries. There's some wiggle room, but when you're really, when you need to hire kind of like your mid-level GS 13
Yeah.
employee, there's a minimum and maximum salary for that. And if somebody else can pay that employee for the same skill set way more than you can, it does start to become a little bit of an uphill battle that you have to get creative around resolving.